The Economic Responsibility of Government by Milton Friedman. Government has no economic responsibility, only the people have responsibility, and the government is not a person. Friedman believes that the idea that government has any economic responsibility is absurd. Government having economic responsibility suggests that the government is a collective entity, which it simply is not. This suggestion has destroyed freedom in many parts of the world, but it has not in the United States, at least not yet. The question asked most frequently is, what are the economic or other responsibilities of the government? However, we should be asking, what things do we want to do through the government? How do we use it effectively? For what do we use it? And how do we keep it from becoming our master? These are the traditional functions of government that Friedman points out. These traditional functions are crucial to the economic health and development to any nation. Without a relatively stable structure of law and order and some degree of security of persons or property, economic progress is not possible. Over the past 50 years, the role of the government has been expanding greatly, especially in these two areas: monetary and economic controls, which includes regulation, and paternalistic activities. Friedman states that the government has expanded through monetary and economic controls with the idea that it would be possible for government to promote economic stability through fine-tuning monetary magnitudes and fiscal magnitudes. The paternalistic function has expanded greatly as well. For example, the total spending on various programs intended to help the poor has increased. These programs have the right intention to help, but cause the opposite effect. The ends do not justify the means. Let's look at higher education. Friedman uses himself as an example. He went to college on scholarship granted by the state of New Jersey, and as soon as he graduated, he left. So the question here is, what did the people of New Jersey get out of paying for his education? He got an education, and the people had to pay taxes. This happens in every state in the country. Now let's look at Social Security. People from lower classes go to work sooner than those in middle classes. So the people from the lower classes pay taxes for more years than those in upper classes. In addition, people in the lower classes live shorter lives than those in the upper classes. So the people from the lower classes not only pay taxes for more years, but they also lose out on this so-called benefit. There are unintended consequences when the government tries to achieve good objectives by bad means. In the end, the groups at the bottom lose because they are politically ineffective. The wealthiest groups lose because they are the prize to be exploited, and the middle to upper middle groups are the only ones to gain from this. Friedman asks an important question: will our society have the will and sense to disband those aspects of those programs that have become a failure? He is optimistic and says that as a society we will learn from our past experiences and correct our mistakes. To tie in Milton Friedman's observations of government intervention, we will use the parable of the parking lots by Henry G. Maine as an example. The parable of the parking lots is a story about a city and its residents who started an off-the-books parking lot business on college game days. To make some extra cash, the residents created their own parking lot startup off the books. As the startup parking business became more successful and more popular, the already existing professional parking lot businesses suffered. To aid the suffering businesses, a committee was established. This committee set regulations and worked closely with the city council to shut down the non-professional parking business. As more and more authority got involved and more regulations were put into place, the committee actually hurt the professional parking lots rather than tried to help it. Many of the company's incomes declined, parking companies went bankrupt, and the number of layoffs eventually doubled. All of these outcomes were unintentional consequences, and these consequences hurt the city in its entirety. The moral of the parable is, if you risk your lot under an apple tree, you may get hit in the head.
Created using Powtoon.